Mike Johnson show. So Eritrean, so 15 years old Eritrean who traveled from Ethiopia and made it to Sudan. From Sudan, he was smuggled into Libya with true child after paying a smuggler $1,500. They beat them with sticks and water hose. They electrocute them. So we are amputated. They told me now, money will be, if you don't pay money, then they might be killed. If you have no money, then they will beat us. In the Libyan border, they told him he has been sold by a Chadian smuggler and needed to pay $6,500 again. More to proceed further, he said. He called his mother in Eritrea now, who sold their house and every asset they need, so that the trip might be possible to Europe. You know, the trip was physically and mental torture, you know. Then they took them again to a town in Libya called Bami Valley, where they were held in an illegal detention center. They gave us one piece of bread a day. We endured the physical torture, but the mental torture was worse. My friend died in front of me after he was electrocuted. He came with me, and he came with me, and we survived the journey through the desert, only for him to die as a slave in captivity. They will hang them upside. They will hang them upside and beat them. They could their nipples and waterboard them, pour hot oil on them and burn them. We saw people dying while being tortured. Hundreds of refugees, migrants, hundreds trying to cross the vast desert to reach Europe. They hung me upside down and beat me everywhere, electrocuted me, and called my family to hear me scream. The detention center had people from Eritrea, Somalia, Sudan, Ethiopia, Nigeria, and other West African countries. At night, it was on stake. The guard would get high on drugs and resort to beating, abuse, and torture. There's no proper registration process for tens of thousands of refugees arriving in Libya. The thought of returning to Eritrea or to Nigeria or to any part of Africa where we came from was a bigger prison. Women and children were kept separate from the men. Girls and women were raped and had children as a result of it. Buildings were close to each other so we can hear the scream and the cries. I stayed in detention for 9 months. Once my mother secured the money, they let me go, sold and resold. They asked us for money in exchange for freedom. I spent 2 months there in a town called Azawira. There were infants born as a result of Libyan captors. In Tripoli, they demanded €1,000 again for me in order for a person to be released. No money, no food. 320 people put in a container where one toilet can be shared. I stayed for 3 months after paying another $2,200. No food. We were hungry all the time. When detention camps were crowded, people were sold off like goose in an open market. I arrived in Tripoli and I registered with the United Nations High Commission for Refugees. I found a job in a mosque. I knew I would have stayed in Eritrea. If I knew I would have stayed in Eritrea, if I knew I would have stayed in Nigeria, if I knew I would have stayed in Ghana. That is the cry of our people now in Libya. It is okay if you die in the sea than being in hell in Eritrea, Libya, or Nigeria, or Ghana, or Cameroon. Fear, shock, anger, and frustration made me bleed when passing urine on stool. Realizing I have been sold like a slave was a worst feeling. No one can know if they are dead or alive. No access to medicine or doctor. No, dead or alive, the family did not know. So that's why I'm here as the Emperor of Africa, to make a difference. Libya is in North Africa. The Libyans have no right to be killing anybody from West Africa. When Africa has 54 nations. Freedom of speech, freedom of movement. That's why we're citizens of Africa. So I want to indict the leaders of Libya. So the leaders of Libya, ladies and gentlemen, a formal indictment on the leaders of Libya. There's supposed to be democracy in Libya and an effective dispensation management, where every African person that goes into Libya will stay there freely. The Libyans have no right to be killing and torturing African people, and kidnapping and committing war crime against humanity. They have no right to do that. That's why I'm here now as the best African leader of the 21st century, Archbishop Prince Mike Johnson, the Attorney General of Africa, Archbishop Prince Mike Johnson, and the Emperor where those militias will be killed in Libya because they have no right to be doing that, including the leaders of Boko Haram. Terrorism should not be there.